SRB Media.
Is it so you're lost in dreams beside the world? Wanna go where I'm not a saying or just.
Good evening, Gabby.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to part 12 of our weekly podcast, The Curran View, with the idol of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran.
Part 12, or episode 12.
We've done 11 so far, Tal.
Unbelievable, isn't it, how time flies?
Yeah, it does.
But it's when it's an enjoyable one, you know, time doesn't go quick.
And are you enjoying our new intro music? It's Dream Forever
Brilliant.
by Jimmy Coburn, my pal Jimmy Coburn, off his debut album, Waterloo Key. Jimmy plays John Lennon in the Cavern Club Beatles as well. So if ever you fancy going up to Liverpool for the weekend, go and have a look at Jimmy Coburn and his brother and the rest of the Fab Four. They are wonderful. Talking of number 12, substitutes. In our day, they were substitutes. Now there was only
one in our day, weren't there?
Yeah, but now they're called impact players. I don't know where they got that from. Now, who was the greatest substitute?
There's only one. It has to be Fairclough.
Yeah, David. Yeah,
it has to be David Fairclough.
Yeah,
you know, because he was an impact sub when he came on. You know, but what makes me laugh with modern day, as you call it, modern day football, whatever you want to call it nowadays. Mourinho, this specialist wonderman, what fetches a substitute on and changes the game. Yeah. They forget that substitute when Mourinho and these people fetch him on, they're 25, 50, 40 million pound players.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so there should be game changers, and they have unbelievable skillful players or top players in these teams. Yeah. So when they fetch substitutes on and they turn around and say, what a great substitution that one is. And for me, it doesn't fall well with me. I don't fall for that one.
And David Fairclough, as you rightly said, whenever he came on in that kind of like late 70s Liverpool team, he was always good for a goal, and not just in the old First Division in old money, but in the European Cup, because I remember him scoring some great goals. I think one when he come on against St Etienne and changed.
Etienne, I was going to say that. Yeah. I was just going to say to you when the European St Etienne, unbelievable. He was an unbelievable, and not when it were not playing for him, you know, not to be losing his rag. And getting frustrated with not playing. Yeah. So he was a great team player, yeah, and a great clubman, you know, to be patient. And even when he did well and scored goals, he was still put back to subs bench. And he still produced it, you know, week in and week out when he did come on for Liverpool and scored, like you said, very important goals.
And the first substitute, can you remember when that was and who that was, Tel, from memory? I've looked it up, I've researched it today, so I have got the information in front of me.
Well, now you put me on the spot here, because obviously there were only one sub in my day. So I would have said round about 68, 69?
65.
65.
Yeah, 21st.
FA Cup, Liverpool, Chelsea. I remember that FA Cup. Liverpool, Chelsea. Liverpool, Leeds United, 65.
Okay.
So I remember that. So who was then the first substitute? No, I wouldn't know.
It was Keith Peacock of Charlton.
Charlton Athletic, yeah.
He come on to replace injured goalkeeper Mike Rose, a game against Bolton, and that was on the 21st of August, 1965. It's amazing, isn't it, to think that pre-1965 we didn't have substitutes. Famously, there was the FA Cup final.
Bert Chapman, yeah? Not Bert Chapman, the German goalkeeper.
Well, Bert Troutman, 1956.
Bert Troutman, that was his name,
yeah. I mean, he broke his neck against Birmingham City, but they couldn't, you know. I mean, to be fair to him, I don't think he realised at the time that he'd broken a bone in his neck, and he played a blind, and of course they beat us 3-1. But there was a famous final as well with, I think, the two United goalkeepers. I think Ray Wood in 57 got absolutely smashed by McParland.
I would too.
Yeah, and then there was the other one with Lofthouse. He smashed them United goalkeeper the season after. Because in them days you could smash the goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper, that's right.
Yeah,
Well, the first thing when I was playing, the first thing people like Jack. I mean, you never heard it from Cluffy, but people like Jack, the first thing they would turn around and say, "Look, from a corner, or put the ball from a corner, put the ball in, hit the goalkeeper,
yeah.
or first chance you get from out wide to put a ball in, put it in between the goalkeeper so the centre forward Andy McCullough could go and really let the goalkeeper know uh, is going to be in for a tough game, or if he's injured, then he's off." So in those days you got away with it. You won't be able to get. Well, you can't even get near a goalkeeper now, can you?
No, but again, it was a tactical ploy from Jack that he always had someone stand in front of the goalkeeper. In fact, I remember.
Jack used to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching this, like, and because I'd got it from somewhere, whether it was a YouTube clip or I'd read it somewhere in a book. And when I managed my team, I always used to get one of our players, don't touch the goalkeeper, but stand in front of him. If you're doing nothing else, all you're doing is you're annoying him and you're making him think about something. And that's
Yeah.
what the game is about, making people think and putting them off their game legally.
Exactly. If you get a guy like Jack was 6'3", 6'4", and in those days the keepers weren't as big as what they are nowadays.
Mm.
And getting him in front of the goalkeeper, it's making the goalkeeper think. How am I going to be able to come and get that ball? Is he going to come and hit me? Is the centre forward going to come and hit me? And it's making them think about or distracting them from what the job should be doing.
And of course, in them days as well, goalkeepers never wore gloves, did they? I mean, Pat Jennings had hands like shovels and like it was bare hands. Could you imagine goalkeepers today having bare hands? And even as late as probably the mid-70s, they used to wear these like gardening gloves today, little green gloves, didn't they, goalkeepers?
I'm the last generation what played with the old leather ball with the lacing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And can you listen? When someone gets hit in the face with a leather ball or with any ball, all the rest of the lads start laughing. You can't help it. I don't know what it is, but everybody starts laughing.
Yeah.
So you can imagine when you got hit in the face with the old leather ball, suede ball compared to balls today. But in those days with no gloves, so when they hit a ball with that old leather ball, the hands, well, the goalkeeper's hands used to be red raw because some of the goalkeepers would come in and say, "Why that ball hurt today?" So it's incredible what the playing in gloves now, which is better for them anyway.
Yeah.
It is better for them because, if you can protect the goalkeeper, rightly so. But it's unbelievable to play without gloves, or like you say, those gardening gloves. What they used to, Peter Burnett, I remember him playing in those gardening gloves.
But you're right about the balls as well. I remember when I was a kid and my dad used to take me over the fields because we used to live by the fields, and we'd had two balls. We had a caser, a normal kind of caser. This would probably be about 70, 72, 73. And he'd have a ball, and it felt like a medicine ball because it was one of them leather balls, but he used to just dip it in the water so it makes sure it was absolutely wet. And I used to play on the wing, so we used to have a pipe, and I used to have to try and hit this ball over the pipe. Well, you'd struggle with that leather ball that was dipped in water, but when you hit a proper ball, then blimey, if you hit it sweet, it didn't half go.
Brilliant, yes, you're right there, and really, and a good training ploy when you think about it, because if you can hit the old Casey, and then it going into a modern ball. What I say, a modern ball in our day from the old Casey, it would be great for you. But at 9 times out of 10, you would have a sore foot hitting one of those old balls.
Oh God,
unbelievable.
We're going round full circle now because we're going to bring it up to date. We're going to talk about England and the home international. Scott, I love that post of yours a couple of days ago. Scotland I didn't realise that your dad was Scottish and you got
Yeah,
Welsh in your family. And I was having the same conversation with my stepson when Scotland were going to kick off. And he said, "Who are you supporting?" I said, "Scotland. I support all of the British teams because I'm British and I hope that they all do well." And he said, "But there ain't many Scots or Welsh people or Irish that support the English teams or England. But when I look at it and where I come from, I'm not bothered what they do and what other people think. It's what I believe, and I
yeah.
always want British teams to do well."
Well, when you got family, what's part Welsh, part Scottish, part Irish,
Yeah,
I want to, but I'm from British Isles and I want to do well. Not when they're playing England, because obviously I want England to win. But the
exactly.
post really wasn't about that.
Yeah.
What I've been writing for years and years and years, that we've never signed the technically gifted players. We've never done it. We've
Yeah.
never done it.
Yeah.
For years and years and years, we the players like Hudson's and George. I know we keep repeating ourselves about it, but it's a fact. It's not nothing else. I'm not dreaming about it. It's a fact.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to get out of what I was across to pundits and fans is this. I put the middle bit in when it said, I was saying, look, I was trying to say I'm not against Scotland.
Yeah.
I'm not against Ireland. I'm not against Wales. I'm not against Republic of Ireland. But it was men against boys.
Yeah.
The Belgium was men against boys. The population of Scotland is 5.5 million, and the population of Belgium is 11.5 million. And I'm not going down that line. What I was trying to say is, it's men against boys.
Yeah.
What is the reason for it? And there is only one reason for it, Gabby. Regardless of what anybody says.
Coaching.
And it is the coaching. It's it's how you coach, and it's what players you sign at a young age in these academies.
Yeah.
Because if you take the Scottish players, and you take the Belgian players, and they did a running session, they would beat, majority of them would beat the Belgian players.
Yeah.
Right? Now, when we coach, I don't mean to be funny to you, because you've not played a professional level, because I'm never against any of that. I've never ever been against any of it. What I'm against, if you can't improve players, that's what I'm against.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, when I was playing and we got beat 4-0, right, the manager would go mad.
Yeah.
I get it. I get that bit. I get the bollocking bit. But then we're in the following day, and then we're running for an hour.
Yeah.
Now my question to the manager is, when he asks, "Has anybody got a question?" Yeah. What's the reason for the running? What have we learned from that running?
Yep.
You already know I'm fit.
Yep.
And let me tell you something. I'll tell everybody what's listening on this. When I was like lightning, but I weren't a bad cross-country runner. I'd finish in the first. For a sprinter, I was still a decent cross-country runner.
Yep.
At school, I'd finished second or third in cross-countries in districts. Football clubs, at Forest, there were Peter with John McGovern, and then me.
Yep.
What I'd finish in front of others, and I was a sprinter. So it's not, So I said to him, "What have we learned? We know I'm fit. What have we got out of that? What have we got out? Nothing. Only some more fitness." Now on a Monday when the lads, because in my day the lads were big drinkers.
Yep.
So Gabby, and Tom and Jock, right, all big drinkers.
Yep.
So come Monday morning, everybody's running.
Yep.
Everybody's running. Why are we all running? Well, because no, hang on a bit. I ain't had it every weekend.
Yep.
Get the ones what's been having a drink, and you want to sweat it out of them. Get them running. They haven't got a clue how to handle it, because if somebody does something wrong, everybody gets punished for it.
Yep.
And that should never happen. When you've got beat, there's got to be a reason for it. I.e., somebody's made a mistake at back, whether it's a midfield player what's done something wrong at the back, or whether a striker's trying to flick one when he should have played it. Now, you don't want to stop them doing certain things, but you've got to say to them, "Look, you've got to be careful when you're doing that." But we don't know how to handle it. Again, I heard Gary Neville, I keep going on about him. We don't know how to coach as midfield player. No, we don't, because all it is box-to-box midfield players. Yeah. When we've got players what understand the game, and we ain't got the ball that can come in and close it, make it hard for the opposition, then we'll do really well. But the problem is our coaching, and then you go in every day for training, Gabby, and what I'm explaining to you and everybody else, this is what happened. I used to love training. You can ask any player what I played with. Any team when I was never on the treatment table unless I got the really bad injuries like I got.
Mm-hmm.
I only ever got a one hamstring, and that was the end of my career, playing too many games in a short period of time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I never ever missed training. I never ever, when it was winter or whether we were playing down at Exeter, I never. Some players, and I will tell you now, some players say, "Oh, I don't fancy going down there. I've got a slight knock.
Yep.
I've got a slight hamstring." So they wouldn't travel down to Exeter.
Yep.
And them players when I was playing at Sheffield Wednesday. So what I'm trying to say is the training methods, then they go in the following day and lads will be saying, "This is crap, this. All we're working on is defensive work. There's no, for us attackers, what midfield players, it's just, all it is set plays and organising the back four so we don't get beat 3 or 4-0 if you're not one of the top teams." And that's what happens, and that's what did happen. And I imagine that's what happens, like, because when you look at Huddersfield, you've only got to look at them. The results they've had, they've only concentrated on defending. Now, when you listen to Michael Owen talking about training, how mundane it was, why did he say that?
Yeah.
Now he said it, people might understand or realize, not understand or realise it. What they'll say, "Oh, Michael Owen said it, so it must be true. It must be right what he's saying." I'm not here to have a go at managers. I'm not here to have a go at English managers. I'm not here to have a go at English players. Until we improve our coaching formula for the coaches, then, and for them to be brave enough to play games, then we might become successful. But up until then, right, and I see it changing a little bit, up till then, it will never, ever work in this country. I will explain it to you the other day. The midfield players we've got are quite good, very good, right? But they're all the same type of player. Jack Grealish is a different type of player. And even if you played Jack Grealish as an holding midfield player and you had 2 players going more advanced, at least you can get that ball and thread it down.
Yeah.
Get it down and thread it through, I should say, through in between lines and put 3 or 4 players. We haven't. When do you see an English midfield player put a ball between, like a De Bruyne does? Tell me when you see it.
I watched that. I didn't see the first game against Bulgaria. One of our friends was getting married, so we was at the wedding all day. So I didn't see that game. I did watch the game last night, and I was making comments, in-play comments. For me, whenever I watch England and I see the team line up and I look at the midfield, I always look at a midfield and who's playing, and I look at how they're going to play. Now, as I look at it, we got Declan Rice, we got Henderson, and we got Barkley. Well, Barkley usually plays a little bit further forward, but the other 2 are pretty much holding midfielders. I posted up on Saturday while I was at the wedding, why are we playing 2 holding midfield players against Bulgaria? We're not playing Brazil, and last night we were playing Kosovo. Yeah, I know they were on an unbeaten run and fair play to them and all the rest of it. But again, it's not a top team. They're a very average team. And 2 teams that we played probably wouldn't finish halfway up the championship, both teams. And I think that's quite a fair assessment. Now, when the defenders get the ball, they're looking to play the ball. If you're going to play the ball out from defence, you're looking to the play. Now, if all a defender can see is the number on the back of a shirt, that player doesn't want the ball. He needs to be side on, wanting to receive it and sending it out, as you say. So what England tend to do is, because a midfield player like Henderson or Rice don't want the ball, Henderson's great at telling players where they should play it. He doesn't want responsibility of the ball. If you don't want responsibility of the ball and command that ball, sorry, you're knackered. You got no chance. Belgium do. All their players, when I watch them against Scotland, bang, 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 high tempo, 1, 2, 3, balls in the back of the net, and that was from a corner. That's how you play football.
Right. We are trying to pull you down on that.
Yeah.
A lot of that was good, right?
Yeah.
But if you take Henderson and you say, well, we need to get him side on, you do need to get players side on.
Yeah.
But when you look at Iniesta and Xavi, right? Because I could talk about them and say, well, they're not playing now. But it's not that long ago since they were playing.
Yep.
They would give people the ball when other players are marked. Why? Because they want the ball and they're composed on the ball and they're not frightened of the ball.
Yeah.
Again, what I'll say to you is, when you see a midfield players, right? So I'm not going to use that Xavi. I'm not going to use Iniesta. When do you see a midfield player like a David Silva or a De Bruyne play a ball between 3 or 4 Scottish players, or in England's case, Kosovo or Hungary? Where do you see that killer pass between the lines? What puts 3 or 4 players out of it? Tell me when.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see it because we've not got the players.
Gary, let me tell you something better than that. We know Lampard and Gerrard were great players,
but not.
When did you ever see Gerrard or Lampard play a ball like a De Bruyne does through players?
They don't. It wasn't their game.
Because what we look to is to get over the top. Not as much now. Not as much now. But what we look to is to get the ball over the top into channels and try and get people on the turn. But when you're playing against clever players, they'll just drop off.
It's easily read.
You know, so you haven't seen it. You've not seen it from any English player before. Well, since Hudson. I mean, Stambols wasn't a midfield player. He was a number 10, what played in and off the striker. A Bally, a Bobby Chat. You haven't seen it. When do you ever see any of our midfield players? When do you ever see Gerrard or Lampard play a ball round the corner? You didn't.
You don't.
They are runners what get box to box, right? And they'll go into channels. And then when they get in around 20, 30 yards and have a shot. By the way, I'm not against having a shot at goal, because if you don't shoot, you don't score. If you don't buy in the lottery ticket, you don't win the lottery. What I'm trying to say is, you've got to get it back. You've got to get the balance right. And I don't want to knock Barkley. Particularly, he didn't use the ball well last night. I don't want to knock Declan Rice, because they are good players. He didn't use the ball quite well last night. But when are we going to see them players play balls between lines? What puts 3 or 4 players out of the game? You've never seen it. You've never seen it.
My honest opinion on England now and going forward, the only 2 players I believe have got that ability currently are Grealish and Maddison. And them 2 players are artists. They'll drop. They'll want the ball. They'll have. Jack Grealish will want the ball in any part of the pitch, even if he's got someone right up his backside, because he's confident in receiving the ball in tight areas, and he'll spin, he'll use it, he'll take players on. For me, he's the most complete midfield player in this country. And until England integrate Grealish and players like Grealish and play that way, for me, England will never ever win anything. It's impossible. They can't. You need to have footballers, as you've identified, De Bruyne, Silva, Iniesta, Xavi. You need them players in your team at the top table if you're going to win honours, and that's what England's biggest problem is. They can defend.
Your midfield is your cog of the team.
Vital, absolutely.
Is your cog of the team. So if you're going to play a 4-3-3, you've got to have an holding midfield player what's comfortable on the ball. You've got to have an holding midfield player what can pass the ball. You've got to have an holding midfield player when he gets it. My job is to give it to a De Bruyne, because he's the one what's going to kill he's the one what's going to put the spitting pass through, or splitting pass through.
That's a mouthful, tell.
Right? That's the one. That's what we've got to be looking for. And then you've got to have the 2 in there, whether it's Maddison and a Grealish, what's now going to put those killer balls in. Right? I mean, all 3 then have got to be, when we haven't got it, we've got to make the pitch smaller. And until we get that part of it right, that's going to be another problem. The other problem is, I like the goalkeeper. I'm not knocking the goalkeeper. He's a decent goalkeeper. But he's not a world-class goalkeeper. No. Right? When you look at the one at Manchester City, Edison, and when you look at the one at Liverpool, and I tell everybody, but they all keep going on about with the well. Liverpool only started doing well once they got the goalkeeper, Alisson. Yes,
Confidence. Yeah.
Yes, Van Dijk's a great player. But I tell you what, look, watch Liverpool when he's not in. They're still a bit more vulnerable about it because he's thinking, shows how good you are. If you haven't got the right goalkeeper behind you or a world-class goalkeeper, you start to worry about it.
Yep.
Right? For all the things we won at Everton, the main man in that team was Neville Southall.
Yeah.
Because he saved matches what we could have lost. Right? We could have lost. So you've got to have a world-class goalkeeper. So we've got to get that and get that midfield right. Now, let's come to strikers. Whatever striker you want to use, whether it's Rashford through middle or Kane through middle, right? Now, if you play Kane through middle, he's definitely going to get you goals.
Yep.
Right? Because he's a confident player. But on top of that, what everybody forgets is we know he's a goal scorer, but they create that many chances, England.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to score goals. So if he misses 1 out of 3, or he scores 2 out of 5, he looks a great goal scorer.
Yep.
So I'm not bothered when we play Kane or Rashford through the middle. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they've got, or what Rashford's got, is blistering pace to go with the natural ability he's got.
Yep.
Now we've got Sterling, as quick as lightning. Great on the ball, good user of ball. Now he has played those balls through, like the one he did to Sancho.
Yep.
Right, for Sancho's first goal, splitting pass until we get that right, and then if you play Sancho on other side,
yep.
Great control, great compose on the ball, blistering pace. So you got them. That's 4 of them. Now then you've got Hudson-Odoi, who's another unbelievable player.
Mm.
And then you've got Lingard, another unbelievable player, technically gifted player. So I will say this: our 5 or 6 strikers are the best in the world, if not as good as anywhere else in the world. I'm not bothered about now because we have got that in that area is fantastic. Yeah. Right. But when I look at the scenario last night, they were coming through our midfield players or our team too easily. We were too open. Yep. Right? Now, natural talented footballers when I say natural talented, you've got to have the natural talent like the De Bruyne's, like the Inies, Estes and Zabis, that they're not going to give the ball away because they know how important it is. But when they haven't got it, it's to make sure they make the pitch smaller and harder to get through because they try to play balls through to help their team. They know what type of ball, what's going to cause us a problem. So we haven't got the really thinking footballer in there what can do that type of thing for the team. Yeah. So until we get that right, we're going to have a problem. But if we get the midfield right and we get what I call a really world-class goalkeeper, I think we'll win the European Championship. Because we've got the midfield players, it's getting that balance right for it.
I totally agree. But you're right, and I've posted this up. Midfield is key, and if we don't, we're not going to win nothing. But you're absolutely right, up front, lightning pace, goals in there. But could you imagine if we got a couple of midfield players that have got creativity, how many more chances England would create? Because with all the goals last night, it pretty much come from Sterling. I mean, the magic moment for me this weekend was when he got the ball pretty much on the halfway line, turned and spun, travelled a bit, put a great pass through to Harry Kane, bang, there you go.
Right. And what I'm saying, that is unbelievable. Yeah. In the last World Cup, people are getting onto his back.
Yeah,
it were going deeper and deeper. I told him, if you go back on my post, and I said to him, he's not that type of player what can run from a deep area with the ball. He never come past the halfway line for Manchester City, or very rare.
Yep.
So he consumed his energy for in and around the opposition half.
Yep.
Right now, I'm hearing people talking, and I have to laugh. At this. These are experts. Some of these have been good players, and I wonder why the poor coaches. They turn around and say, "I'm watching Messi now. I'm watching Sterling now, like Messi, walking about on a pitch, and then all of a sudden seeing it and exploding." Now that point is brilliant.
Yeah,
that point is brilliant, and now because he's playing well, that's okay for him to walk around. By the way, that is good football.
Yeah.
right? But what I'm getting at is this. Could you imagine an Alan Hudson doing it and we're not doing well? They'd be lazy.
Yeah.
Lazy man.
Yeah.
So they don't understand the game until they start to understand the game, right? And listen, that's an art in itself. I will tell you that is an art. But your team has to be doing well, knowing to walk around, right? Not always, but walk around and then exploding, because he knows where that ball's going to go.
Yeah.
He will read the game. But what makes me laugh about it, now they're saying he's doing that now. But when he were doing that, they used to slaughter him. It's only 2 years ago, two summers ago, with the World Cup we're on, everybody's having a go at him.
Yeah.
Can't cross the ball, he can't do that. He's still a young lad now. Now he's getting more mature. He's got more game time under him. Everything's filling into place. But he's playing with great players at Manchester City, and he has learned a lot. You learn yourself by being with great players. But I'll tell you this: don't anybody forget this. He's learned so much off of Guardiola.
Yeah,
it's untrue. And he will tell you that himself. Yes, he's learned a lot from himself. How's he done that? Because he's playing with great players. And when he gets the ball from the players at Manchester City, he's getting balls. He doesn't have to break his stride.
Yep.
When he plays with England, sometimes he's got to break his stride.
Yep.
Right? And that's the difference. And so we have got the players. I disagree with we have got the players. It's whether the coaches. And again, I don't want to knock Southgate, because he has brought a little bit of happiness back to the dressing room with the national team, and he's brought a bit of pride back, and he's got it where people are, the press and everybody's mixing, they're not against each other. But until Southgate gets that balance right in there, where he's got an holding midfield player, what's composed, what can pass, right, and what can see things, and what's capable of saying, no, I'm not going to hit that, I'm going to give it to the nearest one. And let him do that. We're getting a bit more advanced. Until we get that right, and a world-class goalkeeper, with no chance.
But that midfield player that's nearest has got to want to have the ball at his feet. Even
that's
if
what
he's
I'm
in
saying.
the tight,
But we've got
problem.
that.
Yeah.
Paul, we've got that.
Must get Grealish.
We have got it, but they don't play it. They will not play him.
Exactly.
They won't play it.
And it's took him 2 years, and that's the one thing that annoys me with Southgate. 2 years ago, when he took over, he had the problem. He's still got the same problem.
And we're still open. Our midfield, if you watch us when we play, our midfield's open. Now, the first game of the season, Villa, and I thought they played exceptionally well against Tottenham. We know Tottenham's got one or two problems, i.e. whether is the manager happy. Obviously, he's not happy with the signings they've made. He's not happy with some of the players, whether they're coming or going. But Jack Grealish, absolutely a great game that day. When he didn't make a mistake, they did well to squeeze him.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
They did well to squeeze him. Yeah. But I'm telling you, that will look at him, this is another, I'm not used to Terry Curran, but this is another Frank Worthington, this is another Alisson Hudson, this is another Tony Mavericks. We can't have them in. This is what happens, it costs us goals. Listen, all their type of players, that Keane at Burnley. Yep. He's a big lad. Well, if you put balls into the box, he can head it out. Yep. He makes a mistake. They said, well, he's made a mistake because he's trying to play out from the back, and it's not his type of game. That's where we've gone wrong, because we haven't had players to do it. When you look at it throughout the world, what's won every trophy, right? Barring a one-off, a Wimbledon, what won the FA Cup, which would boot it as far as they can, and there were thugs what would kick people up in air. The rest of the teams in throughout the world, whether it's at Premier League level, whether it's in Spain, Germany, the World Cups, European Championships, they've all got players what are composed and are proper natural footballers, not made footballers. That's what I call them, not made footballers. People call them robots, And anybody's entitled to be a footballer. But once you start to go on that level up there, the game's quicker, and the understanding of the game is even quicker.
Yep.
And that's what our coaches don't understand. The game is quicker, but the understanding of the game, and when I say the game, I'm on about the pace.
Yep.
You never hear them say what I've just said to you. The pace, they'll say the pace is quicker. The understanding of the game is twice as quick.
Yep.
Because I've been reading about John Terry. Weren't a quick, but his thought of the
Exactly.
game were unbelievable, and that's what we never talk about. The pace is quicker. The higher you go up, the pace is quicker. But let me tell you something. The thought of a natural talented football player is even quicker still because they see it. They see things happen.
Exactly.
Before it happens.
And that's for me where Grealish is so good. He looks at the full picture. He knows before he receives that ball where he's going. He knows what he's doing. He's a step or two ahead. And at the moment, we've got players that actually don't want the ball, so they're not thinking about the full picture.
Yeah.
And for me, that is the difference with players that can
wanting
cut
the ball.
it exactly, and players that can't cut it. And if you are going to play from the back, you must have midfield players that are comfortable on the ball to receive it.
Grealish will have problems, and I'll tell you why he'll have a problem. Because they've got that many midfield players, right? And I've wrote on my wall, get your socks rolled up, get your tie-ups on them, don't roll over, right? Unless it's a proper foul. When it's a foul, get up, don't argue, then they won't class you as a maverick. They won't, because what they will do for him not to play, I guarantee you, they'll put him in a position, right? But the one thing about him, I think you could put him anywhere. I mean, he won't do well out on left, but he'd be composed on the ball. Right? But what they will do, they'll put him in a position and against a team and chop and change a lot of the team. And if the team do well, we've given him his chance, he can't do it. And they will do it to make sure, that he's not going in team on a regular basis, because that's what they want, because they want a certain player. And people's got the opinions, and I respect their opinions, but I express mine, and I want that. What I say to people, think about what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm right, but when you look at it, all the top teams seem to do that, what I'm saying.
And
until we get a coach what can do that, I'd love. They all keep going on about Guardiola to be able to do it at Huddersfield or a Birmingham City. I would love Guardiola to say, right, I've got enough money. I've won everything I wanted to win. Right. I love my own country, Spain. I'll go back to them another time, but I'm gonna, I'm gonna fetch England back up to the top and let Guardiola, because we even have the same players we've got now. I bet you Guardiola get another 10, 15, 20% better 100%. Footballer out of them than anybody else.
100%. And in terms of the answer to the question of he wouldn't win the league with Birmingham City or Huddersfield, of course he wouldn't, don't be stupid, but he would improve all them players. They would all be better for playing for Pep Guardiola, because he's a coach, he improves players, and that's what top coaches do.
And listen, I'm not against what other people's opinions, right? And I don't say things after the game. I say it before, because I put my name, my neck on the line.
Exactly.
And what I was saying about England, they'll win these two games without any problems, and they did. But I said there'll be problems, and you'll see it. And what I said, it turned out right. It turned out right. When I said to Scotland, they'll get beat. I'm not saying because I want them to get beat. Because what I said, I want Scotland to win. They'll get beat because we sign a certain player, where the Belgians and the rest of the great teams, the Brazilians and the Italians and the Germans, sign natural footballers. What understanding? We don't do it in this country. Why? I don't know. I do know, for some unknown reason, you've got to have 9 O levels and 5 A levels, and then people start to listen to you and believe in you.
Well, every great podcast needs a campaign. I'm not saying that we're a great podcast. Well, you are. But we are going to.
I'll say it for us. Because if we don't say it, Gabby, nobody else is going to say it. We are the best. We are the best.
And we need a campaign. So our campaign is Grealish for England, and we need Jack in. It was his 24th birthday yesterday as well. So now is the right time for Grealish to play for England, in our united opinion. Women's football, they kicked off their season the weekend. Stamford Bridge was rocking, and so was the Etihad. But at one ground, they gave away free tickets, whilst at the other ground, the Etihad, adults paid £7. They still got an awful lot in the Etihad. Chelsea, I think, would have got a similar amount had they charged. The women's game has come on leaps and bounds. It does need to stand on its own 2 feet, and that is a way forward. But now they're not going to be playing their next games at the Etihad or Stamford Bridge or any of the big stadia. Will it go back to the 800s and 1000s as it did before?
Well, I wrote about this and what I was writing about, because I'm one of those what watches it. I've been watching women's football when Japan won it. I was watching it when the Brazilians won it, and I'm thinking, oh, these are unreal, technically gifted players. What they lacked was strength.
Yep.
And that's all they lacked. But I mean, the women, so they're not going to have the strength of a man. But some of them women technically are better than a lot of English players. I'll give it. What's playing the game?
Yep.
Especially in the Championship, lower down in the Premier League, right? Technically gifted. But what I was trying to say is, when you give tickets away, right, and there were no games, there were no games for the men, and they were all, it's fantastic. And I hope the women could get that week in and week out, because it's fantastic for them to play. So I'm not what I was trying to say is, it's like all fake news. They're giving us news. 24,000 here at Chelsea. Of course, we could all see that. What's the reason for it? They're playing at Stamford Bridge. Tickets are free. Now, if you give all the tickets free at Exeter, and if that only holds 5,000 people, or Grimsby holds 5,000, and you give them free tickets, do you think that won't be full every week?
Yeah.
Of course it will.
Yeah.
You know, so at Manchester City, you charge them £7, a massive city, right? No games played. Man United, Manchester City, Derby, bump. Let's play. Let's get in there. Charge £7, fantastic. And they should be doing things like this to encourage more women's football. What I'm trying to say is, if you give tickets away, you will fill your grounds.
Yep.
You will fill your grounds. And I remember watching an interview with Dave Whelan, and he was saying, in Premier League, we can do this.
Yep. But
we chose not to do it. Now, every little bit helps a club. But if they can do that, why doesn't a Manchester United or a Manchester City or a Liverpool, when a Burnley gets into trouble, say, right, we give the revenue of what we get for this game, we'll give to a Bury. The problem is, and now I would be for that, if these owners, because some of these owners are corrupt, and I'm not bothered. You see why I don't get a manager's job, right? Because they are. Allegedly, they're corrupt, because the money goes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Bury at the moment in time, only that owner wants that club closed. Otherwise, that they could have played their games. And that's the only reason why I'm against it, to give them the money, because that same person would put that money in his pocket somehow. And I want the fans to understand one thing. Don't think that these chairmen put £8 million or £100 million into their clubs. Right? Because if they put 8 million in, they take 12 and 14 out.
Yep.
If they put 100 million in, they'll take 200 million out.
It's pretty.
And you wonder why your clubs go. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It is, yeah.
But who says it? Who says it? When I see now Michael Owen talking about football and criticising coaches, why didn't they do it when they were playing?
Yeah.
Because that's what's happened to the game.
Again, they will never. It's like when a player leaves. For instance, when you didn't sign for Everton, and it was all over the press.
Yeah.
Greedy Terry Curran. When Paul Devlin left Birmingham, I remember the Blues fans singing when he come back with Sheffield United, there's only one greedy bastard.
Yeah.
And that was because in the press, it was all about the greedy player wanting more money. And what clubs do is they put the poison down, and fans, by and large, believe everything that the football club tells them. And most of that is incorrect and it's fake.
Well, I will not stick up for players. I will stick up for myself.
Yep.
I won't stick up for myself, right?
Yep.
Because there is some players, what are greedy. There is some players what are selfish.
Yep.
Right. But it's both ways. The clubs are as bad as what some of the players are.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're worse. I'll tell you why. A player can't live when he wants. But I'll tell you what, a club will make sure that player goes when that club wants to get rid of him.
100%. Yeah. 100%. They'll make it very, very difficult for the player, and almost the player feels as though he's got to go. He's got no future. He's got to go. You're absolutely right. Bournemouth.
So, sorry, Gabby, go on. One more.
Bournemouth losing £30 million and relegated Huddersfield picked up more than Juve or Bayern. I saw that on your wall as well. It's incredible. It's endemic, a kind of this money, this greed, this it's taking over the game, and it's distorting it, isn't it?
Well, the thing with it, if Bournemouth had to sell a player tomorrow, whatever they're doing wellish, they'll get that £30 million back.
Yeah.
And might get a profit.
Yeah.
What happens if them same players have a really disastrous run and they look like getting relegated?
Yeah.
No chance of getting the £30 million back for one of them players.
Yeah.
They've got to sell them cheap.
Yeah.
Because they can't. Once they drop out of the Premier League, they will start to struggle and go like a lot of other clubs. So what I was trying to say about it is, Bournemouth, have lost £30 million last season. The problem is, if they have a disastrous run and they get relegated, they're in trouble, because that owner will pull his money out, because players then will want to leave.
Yeah.
Players will want to leave. They don't get it. The gates are not big enough to sustain anything. So, I mean, what Bournemouth have done in the Premier League is brilliant. Brilliant. Everybody concerned with that football club has been fantastic. And Eddie Howe's done a great job. What I was trying to say is, these could be in a bad way if things just turn against him.
A turning of the tides, and out with the old and in with the new, or it's pretty much out with the new and in with the old. Watford now have got rid of Xavi Gracia, if that's the correct pronunciation of his name, and they brought in the old geezer back, who's only been sacked 12 months ago. It's their 11th manager, I believe, in 13 years. It seems absolutely crazy. Money and the fear of losing in football, just, again, it seems to distort all of the right-minded thought patterns and processes of chairmen in the game today, doesn't it?
The thing is, I never want to see people get sacked. Yeah. I write about things, this is poor, that's poor, this club's poor, that team's poor. I'm just expressing my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, Chelsea have chopped and changed, but Chelsea have won trophy after trophy. When you get a Watford chopping and changing managers like they have done, I mean, they've had 11 managers. What did you say, in 11 years?
I think it's 13 years, 11 in
13 seasons.
Sure it is, yeah.
Yeah. What good is that to anyone? There's no continuity. Now, you can tell when the manager's not going to be successful. But that guy has had one of the most successful periods in Watford's history. I'm not saying it is the most successful. Yeah. I said one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks a good guy. He looks an honest guy. He's very good with the press. The team were playing some good football. Yes, they've set off bad this season. But Ulster said that they won't do well. Ulster said they might get relegated. But if I was a football manager, and as wealthy as what some of these managers are, why would you take a Watford?
I am absolutely amazed. And they did it. They did it during the England and Bulgaria game.
Well,
it's incredible.
When you look at it, we know managers are going to get sacked.
Yeah, of course.
We know managers are going to get sacked. The thing about all this, some of these chairmen, they're frightened to death to say to the manager, I'm sacking you.
Yeah.
And they'll do it by phone or by email or by text. A lot of them don't want to, and they'll use any excuse to sack someone.
Yeah.
Now, how long have they been ready for sacking him? Because when he got sacked, he was replaced within 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Right? And you'll get when a manager wants to go and watch a football club, right? You want to go and watch a football club or watch a team, He goes there, and if that team's near the bottom and that manager's gone, majority of people think, well, he's only come here hoping he's going to get the manager get the sack, and he might get the job.
Yeah.
He didn't even go to a football match. It's like me going to watch Jock's team play.
Yeah.
They get beat 3-1, 4-1. Look, a poor team. You go to matches and people think, they want job. It's a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
You go to watch a football match because you want to watch a decent team. So when a manager goes to watch a football match and that team's not doing particularly well, he wants to watch a football match.
Yeah.
It's not his fault the team's not doing well, right? But it's the chairmans what do it, and they blame everyone or anyone but themselves. We know fans put people under pressure, right? They will put the chairmans under pressure, but sometimes you've got to be careful what you're wishing for, because sometimes it can work the other way, can't it?
It certainly can, and it's kind of like work in progress. And watch this space with Watford, because anything can happen within the next. I mean, the way Watford are going on, they're going to be giving managers a 3-month rolling on contracts. It's just the Premier League just gets worse and worse in terms of stupid things that happen. Now, one of the big games this weekend in our Soccer 6 predictions is the Mighty Owls, and you're away at Huddersfield, and both have got new gaffers. I am involved in quite a few Sheffield Wednesday fan groups, and I kind of get the opinion that they wasn't totally enamoured with the appointment of Gary Monk. But what I will say from a Birmingham City supporter, Gary Monk was absolutely loved at Birmingham and done great things with a very, very average group of football players. In fact, instantly, Gary Monk got tunes out of players where previous managers had failed. And I think that he's got a good coaching team. And I think in terms of the young boy who was at top, who's just gone down to Shay Adams to Southampton, James Beattie, I believe, done a lot of one-to-one work with him and certainly improved that young man. And I can see good times round the corner for your boys at Sheffield Wednesday, mate.
Well, I'm more pleased with him than I would be with a Chris Hooton, a Sam Allardyce, or a Tony Pulis. Even the boys what's gone to Huddersfield, and no doubt those boys what's gone to Huddersfield will work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at his record, he did really well at Swansea.
Yep.
He did reasonably well, okay, at Ellen Road. Bit of conflict, whether the owners wanted him in or wanted him out.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried 2 or 3, and then they went and got Bielsa. They'll let Bielsa do what he wants to do compared to what they would do. Like what's the boy now? What's the manager's name?
Gary Monk.
Monk. Bielsa will get more freedom what Gary Monk would do. But rightly so. I mean, Bielsa looks the part. He did well up at Middlesbrough, and he done well at Birmingham. So I'm pleased with Gary Monk, because I looking at him, I think he wants to play the right way. Until he gets the right players in to play that way, only time will tell. Yeah. But I think he wants to play it the right way. So I think it's a good signing for us. So for Huddersfield, I think them boys will go in. They'll work hard. They'll have to change the style of play. Because once you start to get hold of bigger name players, they will question you if things are not going right. If things are going right, then you're okay. But if they're not, those bigger name players will question you. So for me, Monk is a plus for us, Sheffield Wednesday.
And while we're in the Super 6 predictions, you did go 3-1 up. There wasn't a fixture list last weekend because it was the international break. Back in the good old days, we never used to have international breaks. We used to play a game on a Wednesday, and then the players used to return to the football club, or if it was a midweek fixture, they'd miss a midweek fixture. But we have got the Soccer 6 back this week, so we'll just briefly run through them. It's my team for the title. Fulham have got the Albion. Charlton have got my team, Birmingham City. So we got Birmingham City and Albion in London. Good luck with that, Met Police. And then your guys, Sheffield Wednesday, away at Huddersfield. Bournemouth take on one of your former clubs, Everton. Leeds travel to Barnsley, and Villa on Monday night take on West Ham. How do you see those 6 games finishing?
Well, I fancy West Brom.
Do you?
Yeah, I fancy West Brom.
Okay.
I think
Charlton, Birmingham.
Charlton will nick that 1-0.
Yeah. Okay.
I fancy Leeds strong at Barnsley.
Yep. So do I.
I'm going to go with a Wednesday win to beat Huddersfield, because even with the new boys coming in, there's a lot of conflict with them.
Yep.
I fancy Everton to beat Bournemouth.
Yep.
And who's the other one? Forest.
And then we've got Villa on Monday Night Football against West Ham United.
And I'm going for a draw with that. I think that'll be a draw.
So you're either going to go 4-1 up and give me an absolute caning, or I'm going to pull one back and go 3-2. Because I'm going to go Fulham to beat the Albion. I'm going to go. I think Charlton will beat Birmingham, but Birmingham don't do what I think, so they'll probably draw. But I'm going to go home win. I'm going to go for a draw Huddersfield versus Sheffield Wednesday. I'm going to go for a draw Bournemouth and Everton. Leeds United, I think they'll spank Barnsley, and I think Villa will just shade West Ham United. So again, I'll put that up so everybody can have a play if they want to and see it, and then follow it and see if you go 4-1 up or I pull it back to 3-2. Jock watch. How did Jock get on the weekend? How's his progression? He's passed his driving test, so well done, young man.
Yeah, so that's a big plus now. So he's not having to catch a bus to go into training. So I've told him now to go in and get that bit of extra training. There's no excuse we're doing that. They got beat again on, what day is it? Tuesday night. The one on Saturday against Market Drayton, I think that's who they played, and then they got beat last night 4-1. They're not a particularly good team, Gabby. The football they play is not my kind of football. They've got to get on with it. Is as much involved with the team as the rest of them, and it's them what has to put it right. Whether it's them or the manager, they have to get a solution to get a winning formula into the team. But looking at them, they don't look a good team. I'm not going to beat behind the bush with it. I'm not going to say because it's my son that they're having a bit of bad luck. They're not playing particularly well. They don't look a good team, but there's only them can sort it out, and that's what they've got to try and do. Because other than that, they're going to keep getting bad result after bad result after bad result. So it's a scenario. He's there January. That's if they keep him, but they don't send him back. But it's going to be a long 6 months for him, results-wise, if they don't turn it round quickly.
But he will learn, won't he? And that's what the progression is about. Taking even a bad situation and making it good and learning from that experience.
When you look at all players, what Beckham went out on loan. I mean, Beckham was a bit different because he obviously at Man United.
Yeah.
But he went out on loan to Preston. All these good players go out on loan. Barkley went out on loan to Sheffield Wednesday, then to Leeds, before he went back and established himself up in Everton. But there's plenty of players go and do it.
Yeah.
Harry Kane went to Norwich, did all right according to form, but he had a lot of bad injuries.
Yeah.
So they all look at it, and if it turns right for them, they'll look at that loan period and thinking that was an experience. I might not have liked it. Yeah. I might have liked it, but it taught me a lot. And that's the one thing about it. It will teach him. It'll teach him a couple of things for me. It'll teach him, I don't want to play at this level.
Yep.
So I better pull my finger out and start, making some goals or scoring some goals. Because I don't want to play at this level for the rest of my life. We know it's only a loan period, but he will look back at this period in his time and look at it and think, that was a bit of a bad time. But it taught me a lot, and it made me work harder. It shouldn't, but that type of thing can.
Yep.
So that's what I look at it for him. But it's down to him to knuckle down and keep working, go in, smile. When I say smile, not smile that we've got beat, but smile. That no, it's going to get me down. I'm going to want to turn the team round. I'm going to want to help all the players. in the team, and if I can, try and win us some matches. But they've all got to try and do it. The manager, the players, and the staff behind it, everyone.
And finally, I didn't get your magic moment. What was your magic moment of watching football over the last 7 days?
Sterling's turn.
Yeah.
Sterling's turn last night when he played the ball through, and he just looks now like a gazelle what's just gliding on a football field and just gliding past people. It's so good to watch him play. And the thing about, not that I laugh at anything, but I look at it and I think to myself, 2 years ago, all the people what were giving him stick, he couldn't cross a ball, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. People don't spend £50 million on bad players, but some coaches can make a player what Guardiola's done to him and for himself, because it's both of them, plus the team which he's playing in. He's got to be the happiest man in football at this moment in time, Sterling.
And whoever's managing him, on the pitch, obviously, Guardiola's managing him, he's coaching him, but whoever's looking after him, his image has changed unbelievably over 12 months. I remember that gun tattoo where the press got onto him and everything that Sterling was doing 12 months ago, he couldn't do nothing right. Now he can't do nothing wrong. So whoever's behind him, well done.
Well, there's two sides to that.
Yeah.
Because you know as well as I do, if that player doesn't want to listen, he'll never change his personnel to the reporters and to the fans.
Yeah.
So yes, whoever's behind him has spoke to him and said, "Look, this is the way you've got to go," right? But I've got to give Sterling credit that he's listened.
Yep.
Right. Because don't forget, he's earning vast amount of money at Manchester City.
Yep.
He'll be on a top whack wage. He could easily throw it in and say, "Well, I'm not interested in them. I'm not interested in press." He's listened, and he's gone, and he's learned for the better. Because now people are praising him for what he's doing instead of knocking him for what he should be doing.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, time's up now. So let's hope this weekend we're both singing the blues. And we're going to leave you all, guys and girls, with Durand Jones and the Indications' new record, new CD. It used to be vinyl in our days, and vinyl is making a comeback. Cruising to the Park.
Well, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to enjoy it. And it's been a great hour again. And it's just flown past, just like the episodes.
It certainly has. Till next time, Tal. Enjoy Durand Jones and the Indications. See you all.
Brilliant. Have a good weekend, Gabby.
Cheers, pal.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's go cruising to the park, cruising after dark. Let's go out, slow it down to 5 on an endless drive. Let's go out, baby, let's cruise together. With you next to me, maybe we'll cruise forever, pure ecstasy. Someday we'll go streets we don't know. For now we'll just glide, enjoy the ride. So let's go cruising to